Our guest today is Jesse Mallard, the ultimate baseball dad. If he's not out working, you'll probably find him on a baseball field or on the golf course. When he's not juggling ball games and tee times, Jesse serves as our Agronomic Procurement Manager, helping navigate fertilizer markets and purchasing decisions that allow us to provide strong competitive pricing for our members and customers. Today, we'll talk about fertilizer, how purchasing strategies impact pricing, and how those behind the scene decisions turn into real value for the people we serve. So today we're here with Jesse, and we're going to talk about some different fertilizers and how he manages the cost side of that, how he manages the procurement side of that. So Jesse, if you could just kind of briefly introduce yourself.
You bet. Thanks, Mark. My name's Jesse Mallard. Been born and raised in the Boise area here. Very fortunate to live in this wonderful state. Been in the ag side of things for just short of 20 years, and it's definitely something that was my calling from the get-go, and I absolutely love spending the time here at Valley Ag and sharing my expertise.
So we kind of, or I guess but you have positioned yourself pretty well so that we don't have as much of a hard of hit that the customers see, right? So they're not going to see that hard of a hit from a cost perspective. Can you give us a little insight into that?
Sure. I think the first and foremost that we wake up on the Valley Ag side of things is to ensure we have good supply. We have good supply. We have good timing of that supply. And then the third and mostly probably most important to the grower level is the best price we can have at that time. We look forward. We plan ahead. We look down the road, looking at world events to ensure that our growers have the product at the right time, the right quality, and really at the right price. And that's the first and foremost that we take shape when we're looking at protecting those growers.
So when you see headlines that fertilizer prices are going up, what's one of the first things that pops in your head?
There must have been a geopolitical event of some nature. Unfortunately, I tend to go to the negative side. A world event that's not generally good. Whether that's a logistical issue or some sort of skirmish that, like, for instance, as we're seeing today in Iran, those type of moments when you start hearing fertilizer prices are escalating or something's transpiring, that means something has taken place on a world scale that has impacted supply. And that the first thing is what does that mean for the next day, right? What is the marching orders for the next day to understand what took shape. And then better yet, what steps are we going to do to ensure we understand what that impact may be?
Right. So that kind of leads into what for planning wise, does that help or does it make it a little bit tougher for long-term planning or short-term planning? And how does that kind of work out in the scheme of things?
Sure. I think the unique thing here at Valley Ag is we've got great asset utilization, right? We've got good team members that use our locations, our bins, our tank spaces the best we can. We look out to our growers to get that forecast from them early. We put those nest eggs away. We understand that there's a demand coming, and really we look for those events up front to where we're supporting that grower first mentality, ensuring number one that we have that product. But when we see those events taking shape, we know that there's downside at some point for those growers. There's more costs associated along the way, and we're trying to alleviate those costs the best we can, whether that's more precision ag applications or trying to figure out what that best mode or best application rate is to ensure that, number one, they're not spending more at a time when prices are escalated, but really more importantly that we're ahead of the time and we have those forecasts and those demand purposes in front so we can have best success to ensure the product.
Yeah, so you don't get those high spikes and
right.
costs that has to trickle down to the customer, basically.
Correct. Right.
So kind of leading into that, is it sometimes kind of hard for you to remain calm when everything's kind of going panic and everybody's kind of in the industry oh no, what do we do? There's a big something going on here, something going on over here, whether it be global or national?
Sure. Yeah, I liken it to a mentor of mine, a gentleman. His name is Dean. Shared with me a long time ago. There's three reasons to buy fertilizer: the price is going up, you have demand, or there's geopolitical events. Right? Trying to decipher which of those events at any time that may take shape, what those events and how those events may shape up our next buy. Trying to understand the uncertainty, and especially in today's times where those prices escalate, and we know that they're moving at rates that are unprecedented and hitting record highs. Trying to get in front of that is critical, and yes, it's a stressful moment every single day we wake up, Mark. I think I count my blessings every day that I've got a job that trusts me and trusts what my abilities are to do the best I can. But I think the best part about it is we've got great communication amongst our team members, our locations, and really furthermore, even down to the grower level where we understand that pulse. We understand the needs and the desires. That helps alleviate that stress level, that knowing that at the end of the day, it's not me that gets to go butter my bread. That's the grower, right? They get to go have the product when they get it at the good price, and we ensure that they're going to get that quality. So knowing that stress relieves itself once the day is over. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of sleepless nights in the current state. Just trying to ensure that we've done the right thing for the grower, right? That's our job first and foremost, is doing the right job for them at the right time, and I think right now we're winning on that side of things.
Yeah. So I'm sure like buying early maybe or something like that maybe helps that, um, trying to predict what's going to happen or what's going on. So with that said, what kind of steps or what kind of functions do you guys put in place to kind of make sure you buy early enough, but not too early, to get the best price?
Sure. I think some of the unique things that we're able to implement over the last couple of years is a lot of warehouse agreements, direct relationships with suppliers that need to move product, vacate product away from production points into warehouses. We've got great warehouse assets, and we're using those assets and fulfilling them early without carrying cost. Right. I think that's the big thing right now that we're trying to not only save on our end, but we're trying to save on that grower end, and not necessarily have to pay for that product until the need arises, right? Till that demand period arises, and we've been able to fill those gaps, fill those warehouses up early, with that ability and trust from those relationships we've built with suppliers that want to do business with us. They want us to be prideful and sell their product, right? And those moments allow us to get in front of the business of when the demand picks up. We're well stocked, we're well covered, and we really have the ability to at any time to increase those demands. So I think the great thing today is we've got the ability to service our growers today, and we're not just servicing them just a one-time deal, right? We've got great assets that we can bring in early and cover those through the whole entire season. So very very fortunate to have the assets we have here today.
Do you remember a moment where maybe it was you kind of thought to yourself, you're like, yes, I'm glad I bought early, or I'm glad I bought this at that price, because now it paid off, right?
Sure. I think right now is we're living it, Mark. We're in this world where we were already seeing some constraints on the nitrogen side, January, early February. We got in front of some of that just due to some of the concerns we were seeing. Obviously, we had no crystal ball. I had no idea that there was a conflict gonna pick up in the Iran, with the Iran piece. But that alone, that previous to that, we decided to go out on a limb and buy tons on a much longer scale, more so on the logistics side of things. And now looking at it, we've seen prices pick up on UAN and urea $150 to $175 since that conflict has picked up. So it was one of those moments where definitely going out on a limb to ensure the price, and obviously now we've put our growers in a fantastic spot not to have to absorb those exuberant costs and those inflated costs that we've seen since the war has broke out.
Yeah, that's perfect example. With you buying earlier and everything, does that help with the crop advisor side, that they're able to go out and like almost pre-sell, if you will?
Absolutely, and that's a great question. And it's one that I really push our guys to do. We've got the product, we've got the price, we know where we're at. Go start locking down with those guys. Get out in front of those growers. Let them have the opportunity as much as we can, within reason as far as supply goes. But yeah, get out in front of them and lock down, ensure them that we've got supply, we've got the quality supply. And I think that, quality is something I'm going to, kind of hold off and kind of go down a minute. I mean, that's something we pride ourselves on here, is having the best quality product. And with some of the exclusivities that we've got, Super U being the big one for us in Idaho, and some of our Northern Oregon locations, having that exclusivity and having the Coke production in our back pocket, that alone has given us that comfort level to go out to growers and push something that our competition doesn't have, right? Push something that we're very backing. We've done the research on. We've understood that it's the right thing and it's the right product for our growers. And I think that's the great thing, is we have that ability to get that in, and we have the ability to go out in forefront and get our crop advisors and our sales force out in front of that, and sharing that message. And I think that's something that gives us a leg up in the market.
Yeah, I could see how that could be beneficial even for them, right? To go out and sell, and to be able to push to the customers like, hey, look, we already have your product. You don't have to look anywhere else. We
Right.
already have it ready to go.
You bet.
We bought early. We got it at a great price. This is so that I could see that being a huge benefit
Right.
for the customer and for the crop advisor. So, how important is price stability? When you're talking about, you know, buying fertilizer and everything like that, you kind of want to make sure that, I'm guessing you want to make sure the pricing doesn't fluctuate so much that the customer's like, hey, what's going on? So how do you play that into it, I guess?
I think the big recipe, I guess, if you will, on ensuring supply and pricing levels is layering, right? Layering and product, layering at the right appropriate times. Other countries, other demand periods are not in favor or not in shape. You have those opportunities to jump in. But I think the one piece that you kind of look at, Mark, and say, hey, we're in uncertain times. We've got to take risk, right? And with risk is obviously some price volatility. But it's understanding that price volatility, understanding where you can hold out and maybe pull some tons from another Valley Ag region to suffice tons to allow yourself time in the market where that market may dip, right? And we play the dips a lot in fertilizer, and it's not my favorite part of the business by any means, but the dips are where you get your wins. The dips are where you can get good supply at good values, as long as you're sharing and you have the ability and trust in your regional managers and your location managers to do the right thing and share that product, and make sure that when prices are tough, or maybe a potato crop as such as we're seeing in Washington and Oregon, where acres are getting cut, we may not need certain products as much as we did as we pre-plant, and we can now move that within our company. And I think that having that trust within the regions, that we're in it for the right reasons, and for price, the pricing side of things, to ensure ourselves that we're not taking $100 or $150 price increases at the field level, where some of our competition's forced to do that. I think we've been able to skate under that and do the right thing, and really sell in layers and buy in layers. And I think that's critical to the end of the business for our success.
So you kind of mentioned this, and so, for example, if one area doesn't need as much of a certain product, you can easily move that to another location that maybe does, right? And that's a huge benefit for us because we have so many different locations, right? So um, I can see how that would be very helpful within the purchasing part of it too, or procurement side.
Yeah, and it not only helps, Mark, it not only helps on the price, but it also helps on that inventory carry, right? And not having one region long on a product that we have an ability to bleed out, or to use in a different geography for the same time use period. And that's critical, right? We don't want anybody at the end of the application period to carry tons. We need to do the right thing and try to push it in amongst our customers. And I think we probably do it better than anybody else out there today, just knowing that it's the right thing for the growers. It's the right thing at the right time to do for our growers.
So, kind of leading that in right into it, if you were going to suggest something to a grower or even a crop advisor on what they should be looking out for, how they should go about finding a supplier of fertilizer like us, what would you recommend to them?
I think the best advice would be trust your salesman, and then trust that upstream. At Valley Ag, we've hired folks to lead fertilizer desk, to lead the crop protection desk, the seed desk. Trust those folks. Those folks, that's what their job is every day when they wake up and they go to when they wake up and when they go to bed. And really, I think knowing that Valley Ag is here for not just today and yesterday, but we're here for many years to come. We put the focus of the grower first, from application rates to correct fertilizer, to correct timings, and really, I think we have a leg up just from the communication side. We don't have the red tape where you've got to go 4 layers to get to the procurement guy, fertilizer guy. I pride myself, with any of the sales folks or regionals or anybody at the corporate office, to call me anytime. I've got no secrets. The best thing I can do is share the information I have. The more I share that information with our team members, better we are in the community, right? It's not necessarily be the first to know, but the best to know, right? Know the best amount of information and know it. And I think we do that very well. I think we do it more efficiently, and I think we do it more uniform than anybody else out there. And I think our care factor, again, we don't have shareholders at the top that we're trying to, Wall Street or any of those that we're trying to appease. We've got one person to appease, and that's growers, and that's every single day, having that mentality and knowing that it's not just a saying. It's I spend a lot of time going out to various locations, and I hear it from everybody. I hear it from the folks loading the fertilizer to the folks out testing plants. Everybody has that same mentality, and it's first and foremost to the grower. So
Yeah. So when fertilizer applications start slowing down, right? Doesn't necessarily mean you slow down. So what's one of the first things during that time that you think of? Oh, this is what I got to get ready for. Or this is what I got to do, leading into that slower application fertilizer time.
Sure. I think the first thing I like to do, I usually take a good 4 or 5 days. I like to look at game film, right? I like to look at what I did wrong, what I could have done better, where I missed. I take all products and slice and dice them by region. Why did I, why is this guy $20 better? Did I miss something? It's taken that time, and I'm always trying to be better at my job every single day. And I'm far from perfect. And I think those learnings and taking the time and actually going back and looking at game film and understanding where the wins were, and really most importantly, understanding where those losses or misses may have been, and do better next time. Right. I focused for the last 12 years. I focused heavily on looking at that game film, knowing that not every history or not every season's the same by any means, but they've all got a similar correlation. There's always some end game, and the end game is to get fertilizer to the grower at the end of the day so they can apply it. And I think looking back at game film is my most critical step. And then as I digest that and understand that, that's when I start digging in and calling suppliers and distributors or distribution folks, and setting new forecasts up for the following year, right? Setting up where are we? Did we miss our forecast? How do we do? And at that time, we do a lot of scorecards. We do a lot of scorecards for our suppliers, right? And we're not afraid to grade them hard, because they've got their end of the bargain to hold up as well. And so we spend a lot of time just refocusing on relationships. Do we have the right relationships at the right time? Is it somebody that cares about us? And really, probably most important at the end of the day, are they good stewards of the market? Are they somebody that's going to be in it for the long run, or are they in it just to win it for the moment? So a lot of game film review, and then a lot of clean 'em ups, if you will, just more relationship kind of cleanups at that point.
Do you also like kind of talk to your different vendors, right? See where they're at, get some insight of what they did versus what we did.
Sure.
I'm sure you kind of try to predict weather. This year, for example, is not the wettest season we've ever had. So I'm sure all that takes into factor what you guys think is what's needed for the next year, right?
Right. Yep. And we at this time of year, it's a lot of, getting with suppliers and ensuring that, we're in line for next year, right? We're making the appearance, if you will, right? Making sure they understand we are good stewards of their product on the back end. And really doing some of the technical background, right? Some of the new product rollouts, new opportunities and things of that nature. That's the next real fun piece to that time of the year, where you've got guys that are taking the time and have those opportunities to bring up the best new product, right? I think that's the unique time of that period, is where you see a lot of suppliers that are now bringing out, the season's over, any new opportunities and maybe, some change them ups or things of that nature. That's when a lot of that seems to start taking shape into the summer months.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, Jesse, we'll let you get going here. I appreciate you coming out and spending some time and chatting with us, and look forward to all the future comings that you have to offer and help out with the company. And it's great for you to be here, and I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate you guys having me, and good luck for the rest of your moving forward on your other additional podcasts, and appreciate being the first one.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
thanks, Mark.